The battle for WordPress just got nastier. But while WordPress fights for control, someone in the Drupal world just got the recognition they truly deserve. I'll tell you who, but not just yet, because we've also got big moves in open source governance, a major shift in government web tech, and some wins and warnings for open source in the enterprise world. Let's get into it. The battle for WordPress isn't over. Automattic versus WP Engine, we've talked about it before, but now it's escalated. A class action lawsuit just dropped. Filed in February 2025, this one isn't just between companies. Ryan Keller, a WP Engine customer, took legal action. It could include every WP Engine customer in the US. The accusation that Automattic and Matt Mullenweg abused their power, disrupting contracts over a supposed trademark dispute, and Automattic knows this is serious. In January, they brought in Gibson Dunn, a law firm which defends tech giants in major antitrust cases. They represented Apple against Epic Games. They fought for Microsoft against competition watchdogs. And now Gibson Dunn has stacked its team with former legal executives from those same companies. These aren't open source advocates. Their expertise protecting corporate control. For a company built on WordPress, on open source, on decentralization, it feels like a betrayal. Automattic isn't just fighting WP Engine, they're fighting like a company that wants to own the ecosystem. And it raises a big question. Can open source survive corporate dominance? This isn't just a lawsuit, it's a warning shot. If they can do it now, what's stopping them from doing it again? We've seen it before. Corporate-backed open source projects, they don't always stay open. So the real question isn't who wins this lawsuit. Because if Automattic can lock out competition now, what does that mean for open source tomorrow? The fight is playing out in court. WordPress is caught in legal fights, power struggles. But not every battle over open source is fought in court. Some fights get settled another way, by governments. The European Union just drew a line in the sand, and it could change everything for companies that build with open source. Laws are catching up with software, and for companies that sell open source powered products, things are about to change. The Cyber Resilience Act is now law in the EU. If you ship software to EU customers, you own the risk. That means compliance. That means accountability, and that means companies that sell open source based products may have legal obligations they've never faced before. SaaS, that's exempt. But what about hybrid models? A hosted platform with an offline component, a pre-packaged distribution built for rapid development, a Drupal product customers install and run themselves. Where's the line? And who decides? Because this isn't just theory. The WordPress ecosystem just showed us what happens when corporate control collides with open source. Earlier, we talked about WP Engine versus Automattic. If WP Engine sells software in the EU, does this law force them to contribute more? Could it fix the WordPress maker-taker problem? We don't know yet. But this isn't just about WordPress. It's about how governments enforce accountability when companies won't. Robert C. Martin, aka Uncle Bob, saw this coming years ago.
The politicians of the world will rise up in righteous indignation, as they should, and they will point their finger right at us.
If developers don't take responsibility, governments will. Look at Volkswagen's Dieselgate scandal. They wrote software to cheat emissions tests. The company got fined. The CEO stepped down. But who went to jail? The engineers. James Liang served time. Oliver Schmidt got 7 years. Because when the law finally came for Volkswagen, it wasn't the boardroom that took the hit.
To my best knowledge today, the corporation in no board meeting or no supervisory board meeting has authorized this, but this was a couple of software engineers who put this in for whatever reasons.
It was the people who built the system. Now we're seeing the first wave of software liability laws. The EU has moved first. Australia isn't far behind. Justin Warren warned us at DrupalSouth, turning on my computer isn't safe.
Regular people are really sick of their stuff being broken constantly. People feel like they're getting spied on all the time. They don't get a choice about what's put into their software. It downloads new stuff that puts ads on their television or ads in their operating system that they never said yes to.
Features we never asked for, trackers, ads, a loss of control. And now governments are making the rules.
And the industry is not remotely ready for what is about to happen to it. But open source is very well placed to take advantage of the changes that are coming.
That's why developers need to push this upstream, because when compliance lands at your feet, it's already too late. The rules are changing, governments are stepping in. But in open source, leadership still matters. Because the future of a project isn't just shaped by laws, it's shaped by who steps up to lead it. This isn't just a European story. Here in Australia, we're seeing it play out in real time. The Cybersecurity Act 2024 is now law, and it's reshaping how businesses handle cybersecurity. This act enforces new security standards for smart devices. It mandates ransomware payment reporting. It establishes a cyber incident review board. But cybersecurity laws aren't the only thing changing. Open source governance itself is evolving. This month, Linux Australia is rewriting its constitution, and it's not by choice. To keep its not-for-profit status, the Australian Tax Office now requires all NFP organisations to prohibit asset distribution to members. Without this change, they lose their not-for-profit status. So on April 9, Linux Australia is holding a special general meeting to vote on a new constitution. The change is simple, the implications bigger than they seem. Because if one of Australia's largest open source organisations needs to adapt, how long before others do too? Governments are rewriting the rules. Compliance is changing. Accountability is being enforced. But in open source, leadership still matters. Because the future of a project isn't shaped by laws. It's shaped by who steps up to lead it. And right now, over in Drupal, we're seeing a shift at the top. 10 months ago, it started as an experiment. Now, it's turning into something much bigger. And to drive it forward, the team behind it is bringing in fresh leadership. A new marketing lead, a UX research head, and a lead architect to shape Drupal CMS's future. Nick Koga takes over marketing, stepping in for Suzanne Dergacheeva. Since joining 7 months ago, he's led Drupal CMS's marketing push. Social media, paid ads, a global event strategy, spreading Drupal beyond its usual circles. Meanwhile, user experience is getting a boost. Emma Horrell, now the UX research lead, has been defining target audiences, testing features, and refining Drupal CMS for marketers. Her new role, making sure it's built with them in mind. And technically, no surprises here, Adam Grubus-Honig, who built the original prototype, is now the lead architect, formalizing what he's already been doing, big moves. And with DrupalCon Atlanta around the corner, we're about to see exactly where this is going. Leadership isn't the only thing changing. Drupal's evolving because the way Drupal looks, in the way it feels, the way it presents itself to the world, that's already transformed. And at first, I wasn't sure what to think. It was a shock. Over time, it's improved. Some changes work, some don't. For many, the modern look of Drupal's rebrand makes Drupal feel fresh and up to date. Navigation, big improvements. Mobile users, better experience. For accessibility, some wins and some misses. But not everyone is happy. The colors, harder to read. The layout feels unbalanced. The logo doesn't feel like Drupal anymore. And there's something else. A vibe shift. It looks prettier, but does it still feel like a tech tool? For some, including me, it's lost its soul. And yeah, criticism is valid. The problem, not all feedback is getting through. And because some haven't tempered their responses, it's making all criticism seem non-credible. Here's the thing. Drupal CMS isn't for the old guard. It's aimed at a new breed of Drupaler, marketers, and ambitious site builders. The old guard, they might not love it. But this is the future that Drupal is betting on. The leadership has a clear vision for that. The only question is, who is coming along for the ride? For Drupal, the rebrand is a shift in identity. Globally, Drupal is evolving. But here in Australia, it's not just evolving, it's leading. GovCMS is growing and it's getting new leadership. She knows GovCMS inside out and now she's shaping its future. Marjorie Tongway steps in as technical product owner on April 14 because GovCMS isn't just keeping up, it's leading. Back in 2015, it launched with one goal: make government websites secure, scalable, and easy to manage. Now, mission accomplished and then some. Today, 114 agencies trust GovCMS. It powers 369 live websites and counting. So to celebrate, the GovCMS crew threw a 10-year anniversary meetup in Canberra. Big names showed up. Defence, Services Australia, They broke down how GovCMS keeps citizens connected and government services running. And because this is Drupal, the community showed up too. A panel tackled the past, present, and future, the wins, the challenges, the next big steps. Online events covered content APIs, Drupal 11 updates, and what's next. Because GovCMS isn't slowing down, it's gearing up for the next decade. And Drupal, it's been a powerhouse in Australian government for 10 years now. But that wasn't the only celebration happening. Because while one team looked back on a decade, the wider Drupal community gathered to look ahead. DrupalSouth Melbourne just wrapped up. And from what I've seen, it looked like a solid event. No big controversies, no disasters. Just a packed schedule and plenty of Drupal energy. But one session stood out. Two teams came together for a joint talk, breaking down what it takes to run a successful, collaborative Drupal project. What started as separate teams turned into a fully integrated delivery partnership. Joanne Patterson explained how Folk handled the strategy, design, and project management, and Griffin Hills shared how Previous Next brought the technical expertise. Together, they built a powerful digital platform for a massive education network, transforming the Catholic Schools New South Wales website. This is the kind of collaboration that makes Drupal shine, bringing different strengths together, creating something bigger than the sum of its parts. But that's not the only big takeaway from Drupal South. Some eye-opening numbers about where Drupal is really headed in Australia were dropped, and the shift's bigger than you think. Sean Hamlin shared how Drupal's making gains in government. One major competitor is shrinking fast, and another, it's gaining ground in a way that should have everyone paying attention. Right now, 32.4% of all government digital experiences run on Drupal. That's up 2.5% compared to last year. But the competition, it's shifting. Squiz Matrix, one of Drupal's main rivals, is losing ground. It dropped to 14.1%, down 1.5% since 2024. Meanwhile, Adobe's Experience Manager is getting traction in New South Wales schools. Now, let's be real for a second. Adobe is proprietary software. It's expensive. It locks you into their ecosystem. It's the opposite of what open source stands for. So seeing it expand in government, not great news for open tech, but there is a bright spot. Drupal 7 is finally disappearing from government sites. Last year, 5.4% of government sites were still running Drupal 7. Now that number dropped to 2.4%. That's a 3% decrease in just 1 year, which means agencies are upgrading. And that's a big deal because Drupal 7 is end of life. If you're still running it, you're on borrowed time. And for government sites, that's a security risk. The full data set from Sean's talk gives us even more insight. So if you want a deep dive on the numbers, stay tuned for his presentation to drop on the Drupal South channel. So that's where Drupal stands in Australia's government sector. But now I want to hear from you. What do you think about these numbers? Are you seeing more Drupal adoption in your industry? Or maybe you're noticing other platforms creeping in? And while we're at it, what else do you want me to cover? Are there big Drupal stories you think I should talk about? Maybe you're dealing with challenges in Drupal and want insights. This series is all about what matters to you. So let me know what you want to see. And if you're running Drupal, you've got some fresh updates waiting. Drupal 11 1.5 and 10.4.5 just dropped. Security fixes, performance tweaks, the usual. If you're running Drupal, update your site. No surprises, just good maintenance. But security isn't just about patches, it's about control. And right now there's a movement in open source that's all about taking control back. Now let's talk self-hosted cloud setups. On February 22nd, a group of open source enthusiasts got together. Their goal, take back control of their data, to set up personal Nextcloud instances. They explored self-hosted cloud solutions. No more relying on big tech, no more worrying about who owns your files. FOSS Down Under, aka Flounder, is part of a bigger movement. More people in Australia and New Zealand want self-sovereign infrastructure. They want control, they want privacy, and they want freedom. And events like this, they show just how strong the open source community really is. Want to join next time? Keep an eye out, because this movement, it's only getting bigger. A huge lineup of open source events is coming. Government tech, AI, self-hosting. But there's one event I think is the most important this year, because what happens there could shape open source in APAC for years. The biggest open source event in North America is right around the corner. 4 days of keynotes, summits, workshops, and networking. The Drees Note, of course. Massive contribution sprints? You bet. Expo Hall? Packed, with major sponsors like Acquia, Pantheon, and Evolving Web. DrupalCon Atlanta is landing in Georgia on March 24 to 27. This is where the future of Drupal gets shaped. We'll get to that well-earned Drupal recognition soon, but first, let's talk open source. Tech summits, community meetups, so much happening across APAC. Next is Australia's biggest government tech event, happening this August, where public and private sector leaders collide. AI, cybersecurity, digital transformation. If it's shaking up government, it's on the agenda at Australia's Tech in Gov 2025. Expect 150 expert speakers, expect more than 100 exhibitors, big names, CIOs, data security chiefs, everyone talking about what's next. Google Cloud and Worker2 are leading the charge. Cybersecurity, automation, AI, that's where the focus is. Tech in Gov 2025 is happening August 12 to 13 at the National Convention Centre, Canberra. So if you're in town, grab a pass and check it out. And that's just the start, because after Tech in Gov, we've got more massive open source events coming up. 2 days of Ubuntu, open source collaboration and community energy this year in Kathmandu, Nepal, right in the heart of the Himalayas. Mark your calendars August 30 to 31 for UbuCon. It's a must attend for Ubuntu users. Talks, workshops, deep dives into AI, security, Internet of Things, infrastructure. And if you've got something to say, the call for proposals is open now. Got a cool Ubuntu project, a case study, a community story? Submit your talk and get involved. This is your chance to connect, share, and build the future of Ubuntu in Asia. So if you love open source, get Kathmandu on your radar. But we're not done yet, because there's more open source action coming up. If you're into e-learning, open source and digital education, this one's for you. Happening July 2 to 4 in Quezon City, Philippines. Moodle developers, university IT admins, digital learning experts, all coming together to push boundaries of online learning. This is the place to be. Talks on AI-powered learning, cybersecurity in education, and academic integrity. Moodle Moot is the biggest Moodle event in the region. Want to share your expertise? The call for speakers is open now. So if you're in the Philippines or anywhere in APAC, get this on your calendar. And guess what? We're still not done. The biggest open source gathering in Asia just wrapped up. Bangkok was packed with developers, enterprises, and educators. True Digital Park was buzzing for 3 days as people joined for the FOSS Asia Summit 2025. Cutting edge AI, cloud, DevOps, open hardware, security. More than 170 speakers. Google, AWS, PostgreSQL, Nextcloud, Tall, all dropping knowledge, and PostgreSQL Day, deep dives on database performance and scaling. But beyond the talks, hackathons, networking, hands-on workshops. FOSS Asia has been driving open source innovation for more than 15 years. And this year, Bangkok turned it up a notch. If you missed it, don't worry. Session recordings are online. Start planning for next year. But this momentum, it's leading to something big. A gathering of minds. A sprint to push tech forward. And soon, a new event will bring developers, hackers, and engineers together. Not just to talk, but to build. A one-day open source hackathon with a mission. Happening September 30 in Hyderabad, India. It's all about learning, sharing, and hacking at Jugaad Fest. More than 30 mentors, FOSS Asia's top contributors, hands-on sessions with AI, Internet of Things, voice assistants, and open source tools. Lightning talks, deep dive coding, real-world problem solving. Want to level up your FOSS skills? This is the place to be. Bring your laptop, bring your curiosity, and get ready to build something awesome. And don't go anywhere, because there's the moment we've all been waiting for. DrupalSouth Melbourne Splash Awards just wrapped up. And wow, what a night. The best in Drupal across Australia and New Zealand. Let's talk the winners. Best in Show, Previous, Next, and Folk. Best UX, RGA. Best Marketing, Morphed. Best Gov Project, Salsa Digital. Best Open Source Contribution, Morphed again. Huge thanks to Ironstar for making it happen. But this year, something new. The Community Recognition Awards made their debut. Rising Star, Damien P. Hall of Fame, Vicky Spagnolo. And the People's Choice, Ivan Zucek. And this one hits different. Ivan wasn't even there. He's in another country now. But the Drupal community didn't forget him. They voted for him, and when he found out, he couldn't believe it. Ivan's been grinding for years, spreading Drupal, teaching, making it accessible, practical, and fun. His WebWash YouTube channel, a goldmine for learning. And he's my co-host on the Code and Character podcast, available on YouTube. Ivan, mate, you earned this. The community had your back, and now the recognition is yours. But the next big moment in Drupal, it's not in Melbourne. It's not even in Australia. It's something bigger. And it's heading across the ditch. New Zealand is about to host the biggest Drupal event in the region next May. Exact dates and venues are still to come, but one thing is certain, this is going to be huge. If you've been to DrupalSouth before, you know the deal. The talks, the workshops, the networking, absolutely top tier. And if you haven't, 2026 might just be your year to jump in. Drupal is growing, it's evolving, and it's making waves. But this isn't just about Drupal, it's about open source. And if you're watching this, you're part of it. So what's next for you? Let me know in the comments and I'll see you next time.